Do 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 do. And we are back.
Nope.
No.
All right. So, wow. The Little Mermaid.
Oh yeah. People are upset about that. I saw the trailer. uh,
There's a
yeah,
trailer?
yeah.
Really? Huh.
Doesn't look half bad.
I was unaware of this.
Yeah. Well, people have been upset about it since before the trailer.
Yeah, people were upset as soon as they cast a black woman to play Ariel.
Yeah, which
Yeah, here, let me address this. Get the fuck over it. You can't act, you can't write, you can't direct, you have no creative talent whatsoever. You're a piece of shit. Crawl in a hole and never fucking speak again.
especially because that's the only reason why they're upset.
Yeah, that's literally all they brought up. You know what I think would just devastate and destroy the people that are complaining about her being
If it was
black?
a really good movie.
No, if they found out that The Little Mermaid was written as a love letter to the man the writer was in love with. That's right, everybody. The guy that wrote The Little Mermaid was in love with a man. He had homosexual feelings towards a man that he was friends with that was getting married to a woman. And he wrote The Little Mermaid as an homage to the feelings he had for that man. You're welcome. Fuck yourself. Oh, by the way, that's 100% true.
I know.
I didn't
I was
make
gonna
that up.
bring that up too.
It's
When we were first talking about it, I wanted to bring that up because it explains why every foot she steps on Earth is painful and all that stuff.
Yeah, and why in the original story, much unlike the Disney movie, Ariel and Prince Eric don't end up together. Eric ends up getting married to a princess from another castle.
Yeah.
and it breaks Ariel's heart, and she's dying because of that, and she is tasked with killing him by the evil sea witch. Like Ariel is supposed to murder Prince Eric, and she decides that she can't kill him for loving another woman. You get the correlation between this guy's in love with the guy, but that guy is getting married to a woman, so he feels just devastated and like murdering him, but decides not to.
Well, the funny thing is that Ariel is not in the original story. The mermaid doesn't have a name.
Right, well, you know what I meant.
But they always go source material, source material. Well, she was also translucent green.
Well, she was many things, but yes, she also becomes water vapor at the end of the fucking story. So
yeah, so Ariel was a Disney
a name creation.
Yeah, well, and the red hair and the white skin.
Oh, I mean, yeah, her physical features and all of that shit. Yes, absolutely. That was their animation department
So
decided she would.
Yeah, they're crying source material. I don't think they read it.
But much to what you said, yes, these people are all like, oh, you got to stick to the source material. Well, the source material, if you're unaware, would be all source material, which goes all the way back to the original story and everything. Although, if we're being fair,
it's a remake of the animated movie, but I don't think that's what they're meaning.
I think the source material for Disney's The Little Mermaid is closer to a journalist or a writer that did a review of The Little Mermaid. I can't remember her name, but yeah, I think her take on what the Little Mermaid meant and stuff is closer to what Disney went with the story, where Ariel is always longing, even well before she meets Eric and everything, to be part of the human world and to go up there and see all of that. And I think they ran with this review and were like, what? That's how we're gonna do it.
Probably. But see, they're saying source material. I automatically go, well, the source material. Are you talking about the Danish fairy tale? Because if we are, you're wrong. And if we're going by the animated movie based off the Danish fairy tale, they made it live. That's kind of them. They own it.
I mean, let's just be 100% clear, accurate, and honest about this, all right? You're just racist. You just don't like the fact that she's black. You are the same people that attack cosplaying women for portraying characters that have no race, ethnicity, or gender in anime. And you're like, well, they weren't black. They weren't anything, dick. They had no fucking context that depicted their ethnicity, their race, nothing. So you can't say, they're not black. They're whatever the fuck you want them to be. They were specifically designed and created to be anything, whatever you wanted them to be. because it was more appealing to mass audiences and more acceptable by different cultures to be able to envision oneself as that character.
Right?
And here you are, just up on your high horse. They weren't black. It's never anything else. They weren't anything but white, right? That's where you're going with this. That's your fucking problem.
I mean, I have seen people. Well, the people were upset about Ghost in the Shell because she wasn't Japanese. Which,
Yeah,
but didn't the creator say the actual character wasn't modeled after a Japanese person? It was because it's a shell and it doesn't matter.
you are absolutely 100% correct. The basis for character in Ghost in the Shell is non conforming to any race or ethnicity. Even gender, it's a fucking machine. It has a human soul in it, yes. But yeah, no, she did not have, she was not Japanese. She was not white, black, fucking Hispanic, nothing. She was a shell. She's just an android body.
Yeah.
Again, because she could be whatever you wanted her to be, it was better to have somebody be able to imagine them being that.
Yeah.
A lot of animes are done that way. And let's face it, when Dragon Ball Z, not the movie that we all know. I mean,
Not
we're not
Dragon
gonna
Ball
talk,
Evolution.
yeah, we're not going to talk about that. When Dragon Ball Z was originally optioned, they cast a black man to play Vegeta. People were like, "But he's green," and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Are they going to find a green man?"
Vegeta? You mean Piccolo?
Yeah, Piccolo. See, I knew I was picking out the wrong character. I get all worked up over this whole thing. The whole they can't be black. Like, literally, that's their fucking take. They try to make it sound anything other than racist, and their only problem is that it's a black person portraying their character.
Yeah, I was wondering what you were going with the green. I was like, Vegeta's not green. And I was like, I remember watching that movie and they didn't cast a black person to be Vegeta. I mean, they're worried about the casting even though they wore makeup.
Yeah. They're like, it can't be a black man. Piccolo's not black. And it's like, no, he's green, you fucking tool. Good luck finding the green guy on Earth that's going to play Piccolo for you.
Right.
Let's hope the one person that might have such a rare, terrible skin condition that he's green can act. Although I guess it wouldn't have mattered in Dragon Ball Evolution.
No.
Not that those people couldn't act, the movie was just shit.
Yeah. Well, when you were talking about anime, if it's based in Japan, there's more of a chance that they are Japanese. But when they're on a far distant world on a different planet and stuff like that, it's kind of whatever.
Yeah, or when it's just a fictional fantasy tale.
Yeah.
I mean, these same people have nothing bad to say about Tom Cruise being cast as the Last Samurai. Like, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, Tom Cruise, last fucking samurai. Let's do it.
Actually, that was based off of a true story. They didn't,
I know. I'm just saying because it fits the narrative of them not caring. Same with the 47 Ronin and Keanu Reeves. Magnificent movie, absolutely based on a true story. Well, I shouldn't say based on a true story. It's based on lore that is supposed to be historically true.
Yeah, the last samurai is the white guy that comes in and he learns the way of the samurai while his people are coming in with guns.
Yes.
So
Both pieces are literature and supposed to be historical accounts. Whether they are accurate or not, they are supposed to have happened. But he wasn't British, and I know damn well nobody from North America was in feudal Japan. So, yeah, he's white, but he ain't the right white. Do we have a problem with that, white people?
But yeah, they're upset about the Little Mermaid. They're also upset about black elves.
Black elves. Yeah, the fucking whole
Rings of
thing
Power.
with the Lord of the Rings. I haven't yet started that, so
I have.
I can't really speak on the show being good or not.
Yeah,
I have heard a whole lot of discourse over
it's okay.
the Black Elves.
It's okay, and it's not just okay because of the black elves. Black elves didn't ruin anything, or the black hop or Harfoot. It's the writing's a bit off. It's an okay show. Like you could watch it. I'm not gonna get blown away. But
Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna check it out. And you know what? Back to what I was saying about source material. What we were saying about source material. I haven't read a lot of Tolkien. Only, like all of the Lord of the Rings books, The Hobbit, a bunch of times, The Silmarillion, like not much, but I don't remember them ever really saying that none of the elves were black or whether they were white.
I think they mentioned that they're white because they have pale skin.
I believe what they said was,
Yeah.
I
So
think they said fair skinned,
yeah,
but that was an old time way of saying they pasty.
yeah, they be. But different parts of Middle Earth had different colors, but we never went to those areas in Middle Earth within the books of Tolkien because they were written a long time ago, and he was writing for an audience in
No,
Britain.
I'm still hung up on this because he describes, again, I haven't read much Tolkien, only everything he ever did, but he specifically describing certain elves and characters when he refers to them by their appearance. He does not dictate that all elves were of fair skin. He describes the elves that are being spoken about as fair skinned or long flowing blonde hair or whatever. He doesn't say the entirety of the elven race is white people's.
Uh, Basically, he does, but it's
You know what?
fine.
That's your take, but I'm pretty certain he doesn't basically allude to them all being fair skinned. I
I,
think he's
I think he
specifically describing.
I think he basically alludes to it, but it's okay.
We gonna disagree. We gonna agree to disagree.
But it's okay because the time
Matter of fact,
period
let
that
me install my Moby reader really quick so I can open Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, The Silmarillion,
I've read the
and
Silmarillion too. I don't think any of that's really gonna matter.
oh, I'm gonna fucking make it matter. Is gonna not say they all white.
Oh no, those words aren't gonna show up. No, but every elf that they talk to ends up being white, and they are a race of elves. That's basically their trait is they're pasty and blonde with pointy ears. That is what they look like.
Oh yeah, and all the ones without blue eyes, fucking very fair skin, they all had to wear badges on their sweaters that dictated they weren't as good as the other ones.
Yes, they did. Well, you have the tree or the forest elf.
I was kidding. That was a nod to Nazi Germany.
Actually, they did. Basically, they had the different zones, and a lot of the other elves didn't like the forest elves or the tree elves, and then they didn't like the high elves.
Yeah, but this is absolutely true. But that's not what I was saying, or where I was going with what I said. But yeah, absolutely, there are the different classes of elves.
They might have had to if the other elves went into the other elves' territory. If so many like if that got burned down and they had to go live with the other elves, they probably would have had to wear patches. Elves are like that.
You know what? I would love to see a modern retelling, like kind of when they do like modern day Shakespeare shit
Yeah,
where it's all fucking hood gangster shit. I want to see like modern day Tolkien shit where elves are just fucking people from different sets repping colors and shit. Like, you set tripping bitch, we don't like you forest motherfuckers around here, we high elves in here.
right.
I think that would just be hilarious.
I mean, there are like from different areas. They might be a little bit darker. That's not the point I'm trying to make. It's the reason why it was written that way was because of the time period it was written in.
Yes, pandering to a class and a certain demographic.
Yeah. So we aren't doing that anymore, and it's making people mad.
Yeah, people exist. Me.
Yeah. Like they were talking about the Harfoots. They're like, there is no hobbits around that time period. Well, no, you are correct. There weren't any hobbits, but there are in the show, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I mean, I get stuff like that a little bit, where people are like, there's such a rich history and lore,
Well,
and
they're mad about
you're
the Hobbit thing
just
because there's a black Hobbit too.
yeah, I know. And they're just like, can't you just stick to that? Can't you just make something beautiful that uses the source material as far as like time period goes? And I get that to an extent. Yes, like they're doing it with a lot of things. They did it with Halo TV show. They threw out everything that had to do with Halo, and they're like, no, we're just gonna do our own thing, and it's not good. They're doing it with several Resident Evil is another one. Go fuck yourselves. I hate you. One of my favorite horror anythings in my lifetime. I absolutely love Resident Evil, and they just keep shitting on it. And I understand that, but also in this instance, it's just trying to make the story more vast and give depth to it by having a lot of characters and therefore a lot of material that they can explore within those sects of people. If it was just about elves or whatever, I don't know. I don't know what they plan to do with the show. I haven't seen it. I don't know what they're doing with the show.
Well, you also have to remember that they don't have the rights to Silmarillion, so all their lore is coming from the appendices of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, nobody
While
has
there's
the
a
rights.
lot, while there's a lot of stuff, I think a lot of people were expecting Silmarillion.
I want to know why his fucking estate won't allow that. That's the one.
Tolkien never
It's
wanted it to be sold.
I get that, but they don't have to sell it to sell rights to use certain pieces of material.
He didn't want that, so I guess they're respecting his wishes.
I mean, I guess I can respect that as well. I mean, that's an honorable thing to do.
Well, the majority of Tolkien's work are either notes and unfinished stories, and then you have the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. And they did end up making those animated movies.
The ones before the movies?
Yeah, before the live action ever happened,
Yeah.
1972, 74.
Yeah, you had The
something like
Hobbit
that.
and Lord of the Rings and Return of the King.
Yeah.
Yeah, with rotoscope. Was it Ralph Banchke?
I don't remember. I just remember watching them as a kid. Before I was ever interested in reading books of that magnitude.
Yeah.
Which didn't come too long after that. I liked the animateds when I was a kid. I watched them again a few years ago. And,
I still think they're good, but they're not Peter Jackson trilogy good.
yeah, they're not 18 and a half hours of Hobbits good.
Yeah. Well, the thing is they're like, you're shitting on the lore. The entire lore is basically unfinished in notes. Yes, there's a lot of stuff you could work with, but
Yeah.
come on, man.
And I mean, I would be lying if I said that I didn't point out things that were added into the movies and were subtracted from the movies that I would have liked to have seen
From the
in
Hobbit.
place. Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, in place of some of the things that they added in.
Yeah, like Tom
But
Bombadil.
yeah, where the fuck Tom Bombadil at, bitch?
I am Tom Bombadil. My wife is awesome.
And some other things. I mean, they touched on some of them, and I thought that they could have really given some of that stuff more. But at the same time, some of the things that they did do from the books, they translated to a visual medium extremely well, and I appreciated that a lot. Like Peter Jackson did a great job appreciating, respecting, and translating the source material as much as he did. So I don't hate on him too much for the things that I didn't get, but
Yeah,
I have made comments. Yeah, we saved that for the Hobbit. Like, nah, man, orcs weren't there. There weren't orcs. Why are there a bunch of fucking orcs right now? They didn't get attacked by orcs right here.
Right.
Peter Jackson's over there just patting your head like, hush, child.
Yeah.
This works for the movie, okay? I need this for progression. I need this for climax, for conflict. Have you ever seen a movie? I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to say, I get bringing stuff like this up to a certain extent when you're actually talking about, tangible things, not so much when you're just being racist.
Yeah.
Or prejudiced or bigoted or any of those three terms. I want to throw them all out there because they are all different. They mean different things, and these people are being all three of them. And, nowadays people have this thing where, well, everything's racist. Well, guess what? If the shoe fits, you're a fucking bigot.
Well, Not everything is racist, but I
No,
see.
I don't agree that everything is racist, but when you call somebody racist for being overtly, obligatorily racist, that's what they say. That's their response. Well, everything's considered racist now.
Well, see,
No, it's not.
I've talked to
It's,
people that watch the Lord of the Rings show, and while I was like, oh, it's okay, like it's not great. And I wish some of that money would have went to the Wheel of Time show because Wheel of Time is also one of my favorite things, and that definitely needed a bigger budget. But
see, I watched part of Wheel of Time, and I want to watch all of that. It looks like it has a good story to it.
it's pretty good. I've read all 15 books.
Really,
Yeah.
shit. You ain't gonna catch me reading no 15 books. Because if I do, I won't watch the fucking show.
Oh, the show differs, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, well, I mean that's good to know. But like I have the same problem with Game of Thrones. People keep telling me that I need to watch Game of Thrones, and I'm like, look, they're like, but the last season didn't have a book. I'm like, yeah, the last season doesn't exist to me. And people are like, the ending was awful anyway, and I'm like, all right, so you're telling me that I need to watch the show so I can watch the worst season of it that didn't have a book. You wonder why it was bad. Guess why it was bad? Because it didn't have a book.
Didn't have a book because somebody doesn't know how to end things.
Yeah. Open ended.
And actually, that actually might have been the reason why there isn't a book. He was gonna end it like the series because they're talking, and he saw what happened. He's like, "Oh shit, I can't do that."
Yeah, he's got the book somewhere, and he's just like, I can't. No, but so everybody's watching the show and shit, and I'm like, I already know what happened. And, you tell people what's gonna happen and shit, or people that have watched the show, you ask them the things that happened, and they're like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. See? Watch shit.
I still think the show is still pretty good.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I have to just because I want to check out.
I like that they
Uh,
aged up Daenerys a little bit.
yeah, I want to check out House of Dragons, and I know it's a prequel, and I don't have to watch Game of Thrones to watch that, but I don't know. I want to.
And the first Khal Drogo sex, or if you could call it a sex scene, it's more her taking power over it instead of how it was.
Yeah, I've actually I've seen that scene because it was brought up, and I was, how do I say this without getting YouTube flagged? Did he control the situation? I don't. I like. I can't. We literally can't verbalize on YouTube
He did it first, but then
how
she controlled it.
how it went in the book because there are policies on YouTube and everything is transcribed. So if I was to say the words, the video would get.
Yeah, she takes control,
Yeah, I watched
which I think
where she.
is a good. I think that's a good character trait.
Yeah, I mean it actually fits the character.
Yeah, the book,
Um,
on the other hand.
and but yeah, she talks with the handmaid, and in the show, it's wait, was it a handmaid in the show that tells her, to take control and all of that? I can't remember. Only seen the episode.
I think it was. Yeah.
But yeah, and then she follows the advice, and he's trying to do his thing, and she's like, "No, you're gonna look at me, bitch."
Right.
He's never been defeated. Look at his hair.
Yeah.
Oh my god. No, I've watched a few episodes of the show. I watched the entire first season. I want to say maybe half or all of season 2, and I don't think I ever watched season 3 or beyond, except for to watch Joffrey die because I hated that little prick. Like that, I doubt that dude will ever get another mainstream acting job because people will never. I mean, he did a wonderful job of playing Joffrey. You absolutely hate that little shit, and that's a credit to him, I guess. But it also is kind of a catch-22 problem, right? You did such a great job of playing this diabolical piece of shit, spoiled brat character
Yeah.
that nobody ever wants to see you do anything else.
Right.
Because they will forever think of you in that light. It's kind of like the kid that played Malfoy.
Yeah, it is.
He's a he's a fantastic actor. He's a decent person. He's, I'm sure, great, but fucking, oh my god, why can't I think of his name now?
Which one?
The dude that played Harry Potter. Hold on, his
Daniel
name is.
Radcliffe?
I was gonna get there, but yes, Daniel Radcliffe goes from Harry Potter to just amazingness. He did the Woman in Black remake, which I actually liked. He did Horns, which was good. He did Guns Akimbo, which I thought was fucking hilarious and good. He's done cameo roles in other movies that are great. He's moved on to things.
So the moral of the story is play the hero first, and then you can be the bad guy later when you get more roles.
Yeah, kind of. Exactly. Or you end up, or like, I don't know about hero versus villain, but
Well, if you're too good at playing the
relatably,
villain, if you're too good at being the villain, and everyone hates you.
but see, villains can be, they can be evil, they can be diabolical, they can be insane, they can be a lot of things. It's when they're whiny little pretentious bitches that I think that hinders your progress as, an actor. Like Malfoy or Joffrey. But I mean, you've got people that have played villains that are, just nasty, dastardly motherfuckers, and they go on to do.
Well, I think it's those are more the stereotypical villain, like the
Yeah,
and not the.
absolutely. But I mean, even like vicious, violent, abusive, they can go on to better things. It's just, I guess, I don't know. Maybe it's just kids doing it.
I think it depends on how long the thing has been running,
That also could very well be.
because you hate them more and more each installment. You have 8 movies of Harry Potter where you're like, fuck that Malfoy kid.
Yeah, and you've got what, 6 seasons of Game of Thrones where every fucking week for 6 years you're like, dude, can Joffrey just? It's coming. Fucking, I'm waiting for it. Kill that prick.
Right? But then you could have somebody play the same kind of role in like one movie, and the hate for them probably wouldn't be as strong.
Four. It was the fourth season where they finally.
Yeah, it's still 4 years.
Yeah, exactly. That's 40 episodes.
Episode a week, yeah, right?
Well, it wasn't 40 because I don't think he got killed in the last episode.
No, it was,
I don't actually know because I only watched that episode to see him die.
that's an episode a week for 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Was it weekly? Yeah, so that's a long time to just dislike someone. If it was him playing the same role, but it was just like a movie,
Yeah,
to get him a
I
role.
actually agree with that logic.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I'm sure they're good people, and they're not bad actors.
Right. No, that's exactly what I'm saying. There, I don't know about the kid that played Joffrey. I've not seen him speak about anything,
No, I haven't either.
do anything else. But the kid that played Malfoy is,
I'm not a kid anymore.
no. I mean, he's in his 20s. He's a decent dude. He's not a bad guy.
Also a child actor. A lot of child actors don't want to be actors after they've. It's pretty rough out there for a kid actor, especially if you have like your parents that are controlling your money, so they're like your momager or something, and they're making you do shit.
I remember doing the thing with Olsen twins back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I've told this story a bunch of times, but I will never forget what they were like on set or just like their behavior, I guess. They looked so miserable in between scenes. And it's like once they're in front of the camera, they get their direction and they nod, and then action, and then they're just bright and smiling and full of energy. And then once cut is called, the smiles are gone. They're looking at the floor. They seemed so dissatisfied.
And that happens a lot. Like that one chick from iCarly just wrote a book about her time. I forget her name, but it's called "I'm Glad My Mom Is Dead." I haven't read it, so I won't be able to tell you if it's good or not. But that's basically what it's about.
With a title like that, how could it be bad?
Right? I've heard people say it's great, but
I know that those guys all tried getting back together to do a reboot of it.
I think they did. Yeah, I think they did do a reboot, and the other lady just didn't come back.
Jeanette McCurdy is the one that wrote.
Sam or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Never really watched the iCarly or the iCarly spin-off shows, so I don't really know much about it. But yeah, I would recommend Wheel of Time, the books, And the show is pretty good. I wish they got a little bit more funding. Now we're back to Black Elves.
You want to go back to Black Elves? You want you want to leave the light subject of terrible characters getting murdered off and jump back into piece of shit humans.
Yeah.
You know what? That's cool actually because I want to go in on this.
Well, there's a new Game of Thrones show, and they have a black person, and people were upset about it. But from what I hear, that show is actually pretty good, and it's
I
probably
haven't seen
better
House
than
of Dragons.
It's probably better than the Lord of the Rings show. You have HBO doing
But
it.
what I was gonna say, nobody has a problem. Like I was talking about how black people getting cast in these parts.
Or Brown.
No, I'm gonna stick with black, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Hmm.
I can name a few roles that were written specifically for a white character that were taken by various brown people. One, Aziz Ansari has taken 3 or 4 different roles that were written for a white guy. The character was originally white. I mean, his name was fucking Chet in 30 Minutes or Less, where he starred alongside Jesse Eisenberg. That was originally a
Yeah, but that was written for a white person. We're talking about something that's based off something that was already white. I think it's a little bit
well,
different because you never saw the other.
I don't know because, like you said, going off source material, she was not white.
Of course she wasn't, but that's not the source material that they're actually looking at. They probably don't even know there's a source material. That's why I like
No,
bringing
they
it up.
definitely don't. They definitely don't know that that witch told Ariel to stab Eric to death and let his blood drain on her feet, or that the witch ripped Snow White's heart from her chest and ate it.
Yeah. So
Guess what, people? These fairy tales were not all that. I mean, no, they're fantastic. I mean, they weren't all that nice.
yeah, they're fucked up. Well, they were meant to scare kids into being good.
Well, they were also written for adults. It only happened by chance that people entered them into collections of works that were for children.
Well, they're meant for everybody. They were a penny.
Yeah. I mean, I think The Little Mermaid was written by an adult for adults with a message geared towards adults. I mean, the
Yeah.
subtextual meaning behind it is definitely an adult theme. He even said when they put it in the collection of fairy tales that he thought children would enjoy it and the message as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he's wrong. I mean, it made a great cartoon. Kids love The Little Mermaid. It's, I mean, they're not reading the book anymore.
There's a book.
There's a what?
What's a book, Jeff?
You know, if you take letters and group them together to form words and group those together to form sentences and group those together to form paragraphs, those together to form pages, you get these works of literature known as books, novels, novellas, and they can be quite interesting.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. I'm going to have to check one of these motherfuckers out.
To check out
Page 1.
What do you call it?
Prologue.
But
Yo, that was dope. I read a word.
prologue. What the fuck's a prologue?
Yo, there's this is not to jump back off topic into something funny and less racist, but there's this dude that's doing this bit on TikTok called How Words Really Be Spelled. And I find it hilarious because he'll bring up a word spelled not how it sounds. And then he's like, what word is that? Wrong. That's Cologne. All right. This is how you spell cologne. That's how it's spelled now. And he's like, you know what's funny about that is cologne is actually a scent. It is a scent of Cologne.
Oh, so he's basically just making fun of the phonics.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's actually really entertaining. I enjoy it because, you know, I started reading at an advanced level very young, writing at an advanced level very young, and I was an amazing speller, not to toot my own horn, but I practiced a lot.
Come on, you like
read a
tooting your
lot.
horn.
And you know, it's funny to me because I always, you know, in the back of my head had a little bit of a problem with words like colonel, as in the military appointment, and not the piece at the center horn. Like, you know, Colonel. What the fuck is that, colonel?
Colonel.
Ain't how you spell colonel, and just other words. This all just came up because I said prologue, and I thought of him reading that word and going, that's not prologue, all right? That's prologue.
Yeah. Prologue is spelled Prolog.
Fixed it.
Prologue? I'm pretty prologue.
Yeah.
Yeah, logs are cool. I'm prologue.
Yeah, I'm definitely prologue. I enjoy a good piece of wood. I'm gonna have to clip that and make that a an audio sound in my stream. I enjoy a good piece of wood.
Yeah.